John Wick 3 director reveals inspiration behind the 4 best fight scenes. Polygon. From stables to antique stores, Chad Stahelski breaks down the highlights. The fight scenes are a bizarre balancing act between grounded reality and otherworldliness. They pair unexpected. At the heart of these scenes is, of course, but also director Chad Stahelski, the mastermind behind the action that defines the series. Stahelski. John Wick 3 Parabellum is no different. The director said, Edition note: this post contains major spoilers for John Wick Chapter 3. After breaking Seoul rule by killing someone on hotel grounds, a $14 million bounty is placed on John's head. Every assassin in I love big buildings. Love big opens, so he takes me over to the stable, and it's this 4-story brick building with horses. It looks like an apartment building right off of 5th Ave, and I was just like, that's awesome. John was running, and then I started dealing with all my friends that do horse stunts, and I am like, what can we get this horse to do? Well, they can kick, and you come up with this list of 100 great ideas, and then with me and my choreography team, you start saying, okay, how are we going to fucking do this? As a stunt person, I was doing some training many years ago, over 20 years ago, and I got kicked by a horse. It sent me against, it's a claustrophobic space, and that's why we thought it'd be fun with 5 horses. We spent probably, still running for his life, John stumbles into an antique store filled with ancient weaponry. The only gun, the antique gun thing, is a direct ode to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Eli Wallach, that was my first start, and then I don't have much of a life, so when I go out to the gun range we shoot guns, we throw knives, and as a dude you've probably thrown a few knives in your day. Note: the interviewer has thrown a single axe at one of those campy, axe-throwing bars. And as well as anyone that's done this, well, first of all, in every action movie, the hero always throws a knife. And what does it do? Keanu's going to win, but we call it the snowball fight. Like you and your little, we didn't plan on the eye stabbing. We just do choreo. It wasn't meant to be gory. It wasn't meant to be, so we get to the digital world where we have to make that happen. We didn't want to be. John travels to Casablanca and recruits the help of Sophia Halle Berry. Sophia, I love dogs. I had this idea. Some quick background: when you usually see a dog attack on the screen, the dog doesn't know it's a movie. There's no such thing. We couldn't do that the way we shoot John Wick, and I wasn't going to change our style because of that. So I talked to it, so I went around like literally a year out and did a cross-country trip through America and picked out 5 Belgian Malinois, which we decided was the most intelligent, aggressive breed we could find. Found 5 that the deficit is you can't put these dogs back into the community when you're done, because then they're all trained to attack. What you don't see is, so the dogs would go after the green toy and dog chomping noises, cut. And we had to pull this, so the stunt team had to work with the dogs every day for 5 months. Halle Berry had to, we keep them somewhat contained in close proximity. The dogs, after being sent to kill Winston Ian McShane, the owner of the Continental, John refuses the kill order by the high table. This creates some, we wanted the high table guys to be next level. Again, you can, well, fuck it. We call it box. I was in the Metropolitan Museum of Art and I looked at all the suits of armor. And I was looking with
raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.